Most problems are caused by low self-esteem. That's one of the most all-pervasive myths about psychology, that everything has to do with a low self-esteem, wrong self-perception, bad or dysfunctional or unrealistic self-image, etc., etc. But this is wrong. Low self-esteem is not the main cause of the vast majority of mental health diagnoses. We know that low self-esteem is a definitive factor or determinant only in one type of mental health problem, and that's depression. So low self-esteem is one member of this galaxy of self-help paraphernalia and nonsense, mostly online. We can add to this emotional flashbacks, empaths, shy borderlines, and healed or recovered narcissists. These are all nonsensical, non-clinical concepts not supported by any studies or research and not taught in academia. We don't teach this nonsense in academia. So that's one more myth for you, the myth of low self-esteem. The next myth, according to the MSN presentation, is there's a hidden meaning to your dreams. Now, Freud, of course, was the king and the forefather of dream interpretation. He actually wrote a book, an eponymous book about it, about 100 and something years ago. I myself am a dream aficionado. If you go on my website, there are dream interpretations there. And so the presentation says that, and I will quote, many people believe that their dreams have a hidden meaning, but the truth is it's simply the brain's way of dealing with things. Our dreams often don't make any sense and can be influenced by the previous day's events, our emotions, and even our thoughts. While it can be tempting to look for meaning in our dreams, there's often not much to them. I cannot disagree more. Yes, of course, dreams take place in the brain, or at least we think so, because there's a correlate to dreaming known as rapid eye movement. When we dream, waves in our brain change from one type to another, and our eyes move very fast, which is a phenomenon known as REM. Of course, there are physiological and neurological correlates to dreaming, but dreams do take place in the brain, which is precisely what makes them meaningful. The brain is a meaning-generating apparatus. It's a meaning-generating device. So dreams are not an exception. Dreams are about rearranging the previous day's information so that it fits into already structured narratives. In other words, making sense of the previous day's experiences, storing information in long-term memory, etc., etc. It's all about creating and enhancing the library of experiences that we already have up here and fitting this library into heuristic models, model of the world, internal working model, theory of mind, etc., etc. So dreaming is a meaning-creating activity. And definitely, if you look into dreams, you can find meaning in dreams, a meaning which is idiosyncratic, specific to the dreamer, not only universal or actually rarely universal, specific to the dreamer. So I disagree completely with this so-called debunking of this myth, because I don't think it's a myth. I think it happens to be true. It's a part and parcel of a trend in modern psychology of rejecting everything that came before 1960 because it's not quote-unquote scientific. I'll come to it a bit later in this lecture. Psychology pretends to be a science, where actually it's a pseudoscience and can never, ever be a science. And because of these highfalutin, grandiose pretensions, we had discarded enormous treasure of acquaintance with the human mind, enormous insight into how human beings work, which ostensibly should be the main preoccupation of psychology. And one of the things we had discarded is the idea that dreams have meaning. I'll come to it when I I discuss one of the other myths in this MSN presentation. So the next myth is psychologists, psychiatrists, and counselors are all the same. Well, of course, they are not all the same. All of them deal with mental health issues. I'm a counselor. I've been in this racket for 26 years as a professor of psychology and as a counselor, but I am not a psychiatrist. So although I have a medical degree, I did not integrate it with my work in psychology. So I did not become a psychiatrist. So psychologists are people who complete a few years. Usually they have master's degree, and some of them are licensed to provide therapy. They're therapists. Not all psychologists are licensed to give therapy. Psychiatrists are psychologists who also have a medical degree. They have 2 degrees in psychology and a medical degree. And counselors are people who work with mental health issues, but they are not psychologists and not psychiatrists. They are, for example, social workers or just laymen or coaches who deal with mental health issues. Now, in many countries, but not everywhere, counseling, as distinct from therapy, is legally permissible. It's totally legal, as long as you make clear that you're not a therapist, not a psychologist, not licensed, and not a psychiatrist. Counselors are good, some of them are good, some of them are bad, exactly as psychologists. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Therapists, the same. Psychiatrists, the same. Some counselors that I know personally know a lot more than most of the psychologists I ever met, and I've met many. Psychiatry is the study and management of mental disorders, involving also the body aspects, including, for example, medication, the administration of medication. Psychology is the study of people and their thoughts and behaviors. The next myth is our preferred learning style has an impact on how well we learn. There used to be this theory. I'm saying used to be because it's been debunked and discarded I don't know how many times. But there used to be a theory that we learn more effectively because this theory said that each person has a learning style. Some people react more to visual material. Others react by doing things. Some people learn when they're exposed to visual material. Some people learn by doing things. And some people learn by listening. So this was called the preferred learning style. All recent research had demonstrated that there's no such thing. The most effective modality of teaching and learning varies according to what you're studying. Is nothing to do with a preferred modality. So when you're exposed to a certain topic, you may be able to learn much more if it's done through visuals. But when you then switch to another topic, you may be more amenable to audio messaging and audio teaching via voice. Each person has all learning styles and all teaching and learning modalities. It's a myth that, we have a preferred mode. We don't. Next thing is psychology is hype. It's just common sense. It's you would do as well to talk to a good friend, to your grandmother, to a neighbor, as you would to a therapist or to a psychologist, because all they do is they codify common sense. Well, I don't even know where to start to tackle this myth, because it's nonsensical. It's not common sense, it's nonsensical. While I completely agree that psychology is not a science, and I even go as far as saying that psychology can never be a science, it definitely is a discipline. It's a discipline. There's a lot of accumulated knowledge, a lot of information, many experiments and studies, a lot of research. Millions of people participated in creating this body of knowledge. And to claim that it's nothing but common sense that everyone and his dog has, that's simply ignorance. I would even say glorified ignorance. Psychology is very complicated. To become a psychologist, let alone, for example, a professor of psychology, you need to really work hard, spend a lot of time and effort researching, reading, studying, interacting with people.